Good morning. So it is Sunday morning of the East London LGBTQ plus Film Festival, and we have just seen a lovely selection of shorts, and we have one of the filmmakers here today. So if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us who you are, what film you worked on, and what role you took.
My name's Joseph Tiernan. I'm the director of the last film, Don't Tell Me You Love Me.
So I'd say the most prominent question was that it being one shot. What would possess you to take on such a challenge?
The film actually came about by happenstance. I was working on another film because I work as a production designer usually, and we were shooting a feature back home in Australia. Not a very good feature. It's about a zombie kangaroo. It's called Zombie-Roo.
Nice.
But yeah, so I was the designer, and so we were doing a bunch of studio sets, and for one of the sequences in the film, I had the idea to set a particular conversation the two characters have, which is kind of the turning point of the film, to do it two sets back to back, because we had one of the sets already, and I pitched to the director and producers if we build another set on the back of it and go round and round. They were interested, but it didn't happen in the end, so I figured we've got the set here, so may as well try to do it anyway. So I wrote a script of my own experiences, and yeah, from deciding to do it to shoot was only like 2 months, and yeah, then we had just on weekends rehearsals with the cast, and then the Saturday was a dress rehearsal with full cast and crew, and then the Sunday we went for it, and it was 11 takes, and the film is the 11th take, and there's no cuts. Yeah.
And you weren't after the 11th take. Was it like it was perfect? Was there any like desire to do just that one more?
We didn't really have a choice, because we'd started at 7 a.m. and we'd gone to 7 p.m. and hadn't got the shot yet. I mean, the 10th take was close, but not quite. A few times, either we would, either the cast would open the central door the wrong way and we'd see the other set, or crew would be seen just running out of frame, changing around the set dressing, or the actors' costumes wouldn't quite have been done in time, and they had to get to the other side of the set, but also in silence while the other scene is happening. So it was very tense. But yeah, no, I was quite happy with the 11th, and I think everyone was to finally get it.
So were these things caught whilst filming, or was it a case of you do the whole shot and then it's watching back? Oh, this was spotted.
Sometimes, so we had the monitor on the day, and sometimes we'd get to like maybe, so it's a 17-minute film, so sometimes we'd get to like 14 or 15 minutes, and a mistake would happen, and me and my DP Wilson and the producer Jack, we were sitting there, and we'd quickly be like, is it something we can fix? No, we have to cut, and then it's reset and we start all over again. But our camera operator Alec was amazing. I mean, Steadicam, it's not easy to do it consistently for 17 minutes, let alone 11 times throughout the day. So yeah, he was amazing. I don't know if he physically could have done another one after the 11th.
So were you at any point tempted to have any cuts? Like, what was post-production like for this?
There was a few, minor meltdowns where I'm like, we'll just cut it all out. Let's make a 2-minute film. And there was a few issues with when we're going around the exteriors. There are some times when we saw like the studio walls, so there are like some digital trees added here and there, but we had mostly practical trees on the day. For example, the outside the apartment was a cyclorama of just a random New York cityscape, and the other side was fake trees. But yeah, there was only a few little pockets, like in the top right corner, where you can see like a studio light or something, where we just had to put a little tree in or a branch.
And what prompted you to create it, to make it a queer story, and specifically two women, like their relationship? What inspired that?
To be honest, it was we had auditions and had about it wasn't ever one or the other. That we had auditions with all genders, and at the end of the day, Siobhan and Mara were the two best actresses, and my co-writer Ruby was on board, and we essentially, when we decided it's going to be two women, we essentially made it. I wanted it from the beginning to always just be a story about two people and the rise and fall of their relationship. But yeah, they were the best actresses.
And I guess it's a level of who would actually be up for the challenge as well, to be able to run from set to set, get changed. Are they stage performers as well, or are they mostly work in film, or do they do both?
A bit of stage, but yeah, mostly film. I think that was, obviously it's a short film, not a lot of money, so the incentive for a lot of people involved, cast and crew, was the challenge of it, of not really knowing if it was going to be possible, knowing that we only had one shoot day, which we really did. On the following Monday, the sets were destroyed for the other film. So yeah, we really had to get it in that one shoot day. So I think that challenge was pretty exciting to a lot of the cast and crew, and they pulled it off. So I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, you absolutely should be proud of both yourself and everyone who worked on the short, because that's how did you keep, I guess, calm, and how did you work through? Because were you able to have any fun moments on set, or was it as you started, as you had to keep going? Was there stress?
It was a lot of fun. I if I were to do it again, I probably would just direct. Like, coming from production design, like, I also designed the sets, and so that added another level of stress on the day. Though we had an amazing art department. There was about 30 art department people involved throughout the film, and I think a dozen on the day for just redressing the sets, as we tried to show it going over a span of 3 years. But yeah, no, it was fun. To be honest, on the day, I would just be watching the monitor and just watching everyone else run around like crazy, doing an amazing job. So yeah, no, it was a great experience. I loved it.
Would you dive into that world again of the one shot, or do you think you need a minute?
Yeah, watching, like, I haven't watched the film for a few months now, so revisiting it, there's always, you're always your biggest critic, and there's always things that would do that differently. So it'd be nice to maybe do something with a bit more time. I'd love to do something on a larger scale. At one point we were talking about, having a city street or a forest in the studio, and then it goes into the house and then back. But yeah, I mean, that to me, that would be a very exciting challenge. But yeah, would need more than a few $100 and pounds, sorry, and yeah, people donating their time. But yeah, no, I'd love to do it again.
Do we have any audience questions? Yep, one at the front.
I was about to say, do you think you'd ever try doing a 90-minute feature in one take?
I mean, I'd love to. I am worried that, again, coming from a background in the art department, I would want lots of sets, and my issue has been focusing too much on the sets and not so much the actors or story. But no, I mean, yeah, I'd love to. That would be a pretty cool challenge. I think, because I think it's Russian Ark is maybe one of the only feature-length films that is a true one-shot with no hidden cuts. Obviously, there's amazing, Birdman, 1917. It's incredible what they did, but yeah, to do a pure one-take feature, that'd be pretty cool.
Obviously, aside from the actual challenge of not having any cuts and it all being in one take, what would you say was the biggest difference between working on just one cut between a normal film where you can do whatever you need to do? The biggest difficulty, sorry.
I haven't I haven't directed since film school, so it's been a while since I've had an edit. Since film school, I've been just working in the art department. But I guess it was we had nothing to hide behind, and we had to make the script pretty solid and locked in, because I knew that, cause from the very beginning it was always a one take, and I knew that we can't just cut a scene out, because obviously if you try, I mean, there was thoughts of splicing at one point, but obviously if you cut a scene in Elena's house, then you have to cut the other scene in Matilda's house. So if you're cutting one, you're cutting two, and then it doesn't make sense in the narrative. So yeah, that was quite restricting. But yeah, it would be fun to make a film one day that has an editor. Yeah.
Any more questions? Yeah, one at the back.
Yeah, did you approach, when you were directing the actors, did you almost have like a stage-based approach, almost like you would do a stage play, because obviously there were kind of costume changes and blocking. Was it almost like a kind of theatrical approach almost then?
Yeah, very much. I mean, our costume designer, Maddie Barlow, she came from theatre, so she was definitely used to the quick changes. Though, I mean, some of our changes were like 5 seconds, which even for theatre is quite quick. But yeah, in terms of the rehearsals with the actors, we were lucky to have at least one of the sets for a good amount of time leading up to it, and the other set was just taped out. And they were great with their time, and there was lots of weekends leading up to it where we could just treat it like a play and not really think about the camera, and just do it over and over and over, which we kind of had to. Like, there was not really any room on the day for any acting changes per se, in that we knew on the day it would be so technically challenging, there would be things that would have to adapt there. So yeah, the performances had to be pretty locked in and solid. And yeah, I mean, I'm in awe of Mara and Siobhan and what they did.
And then, oh, yeah. Oh, there's two. So we'll do one question and then another one at the back.
You mentioned about sound and bringing up from the stage. I know you often hear from off stage sounds sometimes that you're not expecting. How did you manage that in film production?
So we had 2 boom operators, one for each set, and our amazing sound recordist Nick Rowan worked closely with the props department in cushioning certain props. For example, a set of keys essentially glued together, so they look the part but they don't jingle. Cups have got little bits of foam underneath. There was a perimeter of carpet that was laid around both sets, which was for the Steadicam path and also the crew entering and exiting. So in the bedroom, it's a fake cupboard door that goes to the kitchen of the other set, and there was quite a few tricks like that could make access easier, so they wouldn't have to be sprinting, which is hard to do quietly, around the whole set to get to the next scene, so they could sneak through these hidden doorways. But yeah, no, the sound was a challenge. We did have to do a bit of ADR in post, but overall that was one of the biggest concerns going into it. But I think it worked out.
Another question?
Welcome to East London.
Thank
we're
you.
really privileged to see some really great international films. My question to you is, how important are film festivals like this to queer cinema, showing those LGBTQ plus stories? How important is it to have festivals such as this?
I think it's great. I think there should be more, and I was hoping there'd be some more people here today. But we saw some amazing films from all over the world today, and it's great to see, and I think we should see more of it. I was really quite blown away by the quality of not surprising, but no, it was some beautiful films. It was a privilege to see them.
And my final question is, after the festival run, will this be available to be seen anywhere?
Yeah, it'll probably just go on Vimeo. There's an Instagram account that you can follow. It'll just be online in a few months.
All right, thank you. And thank you for both submitting your film and coming to support it. Can we give a
Thanks
round
so
of
much
applause?
for having me.